Hello, spring is springing, birds are singing, and we're ready with some bolder predictions. Sotro!
Roll the salt, get in the ring. Welcome to the Dohyo.
Hello and welcome back to the Dohyo here on MrJWags channel. We are back with our bolder predictions for the upcoming March Basho. But before we do, we have a special announcement. I have just started a new job, music directing and sound designing at the Second City, New York. Yes, the famed Chicago comedy and improv theater, the Second City, has just opened a brand new theater in New York. We are open. I am music directing a show called The Best of Second City. It's going up 4 times a week, Saturday through Tuesday. If you want any more details, feel free to check it out at secondcity.com. Hope to see you there. Also, before we get to the predictions, some sumo news. The Michinoku-Oyakata, or as we better know him, the former Ozeki Kirishima, who is the current Oyakata of the current Ozeki Kirishima, will be retiring after this tournament, and instead of handing off the stable to someone else, the stable will be closing. The early word I hear online is that Kirishima will be reuniting with the former Kakiryu at Ottawa Yamabeya, and a lot of the rest of the Michinoku wrestlers will be heading over to Toketsukaze-beya, which is also best known as Shodai's stable. So best of luck to you all. Have a great last tournament with Michinoku. And the other news, unfortunately, is an in-tie that is tied to some scandal. And this is big news, not just physically because of the wrestler involved, but also because of the reputations of those involved. Hokuseiho, former Maegashira, who has now dropped his way down to Juryo, and now completely out of sumo because he's just given his in-tie papers, apparently was at the center of a large bullying scandal in Miyagi-no stable. The former Hakuho, who of course runs Miyagi-no-beya, will not be running it for the near future. Tamagaki-Oyakata has been sent in by the JSA to try to fix things and get things to fly right again. My big hope is that everyone can move forward this helpfully, constructively, and with a minimum of drama. I think this tournament is going to be a fascinating tournament. I see a lot of what I like to call a gods and sods basho coming up. I see a lot of our top rankers doing very well, and I see a lot of people sort of in the high joy who are not going to do very well as a result of this. I think our joy and upper Magashira ranks are still heavily in flux, whereas the top of our Sanyaku seems relatively rock solid at this point. So the first bold prediction, 10 plus Rikishi get 10 plus wins. Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of 10 and 5s or above on this current Bonskai. The bolder prediction is that we will have 12 plus wrestlers get 10 or more losses. Yeah, I think this is going to be a tournament where a few people are really ranked poorly for where their true talent level lies. We have a bunch of Juryo guys who are coming up, facing some new high ranks. I'm just seeing a lot of shakeups and a bit of carnage happening here. The next bold prediction, sort of a follow-up, I believe both Komusubi, Abi, and Nishikigi are going to go Make Koshi. Now, Nishikigi, I just feel like he's a very solid wrestler with a definite ceiling, and the ceiling seems to be Joy and Lower Sanyaku. I don't see him excelling facing a full meat grinder schedule. And Abi, now Abi has had stretches in his career where he's had a bunch of Komusubi and Sanyaku in a row, but since he won his Yusho back in November of 22, he has not gotten a Kachikoshi up in the Sanyaku. And in fact, his last 2 trips up to Komusubi have ended in a 6 and 9. So yeah, I think some of the losses from the top of the Bonskai are going to be coming from the Komusubi rank. And that brings me to my bolder prediction. Everyone Sekiwake and above will get Kachikoshi if they finish the tournament. And unfortunately, I think Terunofuji and Takakeisho are not going to finish the tournament. Terunofuji has said he's going to start, but I just see him sort of petering out if things don't go well in the first week. Of course, I was very wrong about this before. See the predictions for January. And as for Takakeisho, it just seems that the neck injury is still hurting him, and you just cannot mess around with a neck injury. His entire sumo is based on the blunt force pushing action of his upper body. So I'm unfortunately, I see this as him he's going to drop down to Ozeki Wake, and hopefully he will be able to get 10 in May. Otherwise, we may just be seeing the natural aging process of a lot of miles on a very small frame, relatively speaking. Now it's time for our recurring segment, 3 Up, 3 Down, where we look at some wrestlers who are underranked and overranked, and we predict how they will do in the upcoming tournament. Starting with 3 Down. As I mentioned, I think the top of the Maegashira ranks are not going to do very well, but unfortunately I see a few guys up here who I just don't think are ready to quite punch at that weight. Starting with Maegashira 3, Oho. Ooh, now, I really want Oho to do well, but this is a guy who's never gotten a winning record in the single-digit Maegashira. He got double-digit wins last time down at like Maegashira 11, and that's great, but he is now all the way up at Maegashira 3. He's going to be facing the toughest possible schedule. I have seen nothing out of Oho that shows that he can thrive up here at this level. I'm expecting double-digit losses for him. Maegashira 4, Hirodo-Umi. Now, I love Hirodo-Umi. I love undersized guys, and he fights just with such passion and speed and power. I just think he's got short arms, and that is ultimately going to be the thing that sort of separates him from being able to compete with guys like Abi and guys like Terunofuji and guys like Kota Nwaka, guys who can just sort of keep him at arm's length. His highest rank Kachikoshi is Maegashira 8. He's at a career high rank. He's probably going to be right at that joy line, which means he's going to be facing probably the toughest schedule possible. Don't see good things for Hirodo-Umi this tournament. And last on the down list, Meisei. Now this one I could be wrong on, as I have seen Meisei do some excellent sumo in the past year, but he's just been so inconsistent. I do not see him anymore as a person who is just going to hang out in the Joy Lower Sanyaku region. I see him as a tier down at this point. So again, I don't see Meisei doing well. And on a happier note, the 3 up, Maegashira 13, Ryuden. Now, Ryuden, I believe, was hurt last tournament, had a brutal schedule down the stretch, which I don't think helped his injury. Maegashira 13 seems low enough that he should be able to bounce back if he's healthy. I mean, this will be a theme if he's healthy. Also with my next, Maegashira 9, Hokuto Fuji. If Hokuto Fuji is at all healthy, he should clean up at Maegashira 9. But unfortunately, last tournament, as we all recall, we had a lot of Kyujo. And our last 3 up, Maegashira 10, Shodai. We also have a Maegashira 10 Mitakeumi, also a former Ozeki, but Shodai is the one I actually think is going to bounce back up. Now, the last time Shodai was ranked this low was 2019, right before his Ozeki run, and he ended up getting a Jun Yusho. I'm not seeing him having a Jun Yusho here, but I do expect him to be better than Maegashira 10 this tournament. And now it's time for Which Way We Goin'? A recurring segment where we see certain wrestlers for whom this basho may be a crossing point in their sumo career. First up, Maegashira 2, Atami Fuji. Now, he got a 6-9 last tournament at Maegashira 1, his first time in the Joy. 6-9, perfectly respectable. Got the gentlest of demotions, only a half rank, as I mentioned in the wrap-up of January. This Banzuke, a little weird, but it kind of had to be because of the way things shook out. Now, I don't think Atami Fuji is going to do worse, but the question is, can you look at his losses from the last tournament and realistically see 2 more wins to get to a Kachikoshi? I do. I think Atami Fuji is young, he's got his learning pants on, he doesn't have to face Terunofuji, which is always a positive. Now, I see him squeezing out 2 more wins, getting his first Kachikoshi, but I also wouldn't be surprised if he ends up repeating the 6 or ends up breaking out a little bit and getting his first double-digit wins up in the Joy. I know this is a bit of a happier Which Way We Goin'. Now, the other 4 guys I have in the Which Way We Goin', I'm going to sort of address as a clump. Maegashira 5, Onosato, Maegashira 6, Gonoyama, Maegashira 7, Kinbozan, and Maegashira 9, Kota Shoho. They're all younger guys who are sub-Joy who I have the same sort of worry/hope about. That they have a really great first week beating up on sub-Joy Sanyaku level opponents. They're going to do really well and they're going to get aggressively promoted in the second week. So if they do have great first weeks and crappy second weeks, let's not be too hard on them, because likely if they have amazing first weeks, the people they face in the second week are going to be amazing and slightly above these guys' current talent level. But it will also give us an opportunity to see if any of these young to medium young hotnesses are ready to start making a northward push on the Banzuke. Alright, my bold prediction for the Juryo Yusho. Juryo 10 and recent Sekitori returnee Wakataka Kage will take the Juryo Yusho. However, I do not think he is going to get what I think the 13 wins necessary would be for immediate promotion. I think he's probably going to top out at 11 or 12. My bolder prediction for Juryo is that the Jun Yusho in Juryo is going to go to former Makuuchi wrestler and current Juryo 1 and favorite of the channel, Takara Fuji. Now, Takara Fuji is, of course, a personal favorite, best legs in sumo. I will die on this hill. My take is Takarafuji's not quite done yet, and he's going to have another pushback on Tamakauchi, hopefully to stay for a few more basho yet. Alright, here we come, the Yusho pick. The bold prediction is that it is going to come from Ozeki. I don't really see any of the Maegashira pulling it together and surprising anyone, with the possible exception of my June Yusho pick, Asanoyama. Now in the January wrap-up, remember I said I was a little worried about Asanoyama, I'm going to throw my chips in on this one. I think he's going to stay healthy this entire tournament and get to a 12-3. Now, if the Yusho pick is going to be an Ozeki, that obviously limits our options. I think Takakeisho is going to end up going Kyujo, so it's not going to be him. Koji Nawaka, that'd be a fascinating choice. I think he's going to do well, but I think he's going to top out 9-10 wins. First-time Ozekis tend not to do that well in their first time at the rank. They get feasted. The Ozeki hangover, I do believe, is a factor. Hoshoryu is a definite contender for the championship if he returns fully healthy. I have not heard anything to the contrary, but Sumo is famously tight-lipped about injuries. So that, for me, says my Yusho pick, is going to be Kiribayama. I expect him to win with a 13-2, and I expect that to be enough for them to bump him up to Yokozuna. We need another one. Kiribayama seems fit, he seems healthy, he seems to be a learning computer. This is going to be his Oyakata's last chance to see him lift the cup and get the rope. And you know me, I'm a sucker for a good narrative. So for me, I am going with Kirishima winning his 3rd Yusho. Thank you so much for joining us here on the Dohyo. Please, if you have not yet, like and subscribe. That just tells YouTube that more people want to see the Dohyo, and everyone does, of course, because who doesn't love fun? Stay tuned to the channel. We will be doing all of our mid-basho quick strikes to keep you posted on all of the basho happenings that are happening mid-basho. And we will be doing our wrap-up at the end, and you're not going to want to miss that either. So everyone, stay safe, stay strong, stay healthy, and I will see you next time on the Dohyo.